Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you very much for joining me. And if ever a day you say, boy, I need a job that is as rewarding, rejuvenating, and as wonderful as I have, hey, you should, because I got to work with great people here at Radio Cayman and interview wonderful guests and chance today to talk to the contestants of the Miss Cayman Universe. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and I'm truly honored again to extend an invitation on behalf of the Miss Cayman Universe Committee for this coming Saturday evening, and we'll tell you more about it. But to have two of the wonderful contestants, contestant number one, Miss Whitney Foster, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having us.
Well, it's a pleasure. And contestant number 8, Miss Whitney, joins Miss Whitney, Miss Angelina Brown. It is, thank you so much. Miss Angelina, how are you today?
I'm great, thankful. And you?
Oh, man, listen, I am blessed. I'm so blessed that I get accused sometimes of being tall. So it's good. Yeah, that's just how much I fill the room. But I'm especially today because when we look at this opportunity, hopefully as parents that are listening, we start to appreciate that what you're doing, this training is something that I'm increasingly inclined to say should be available to all of us. Yes. Not just the poise, the grace, elegance, and the deportment, but the confidence they get, the sense of camaraderie, the chance to test your mettle, as it were, and then to present yourself publicly. Ms. Whitney, no matter the training, sometimes it's all in experience.
I definitely agree, though. These are very transferable life skills that I encourage all young women to if you're interested, to go out and try it, because I think even for myself, I've been working in New York, in Florida, and in Cayman for the last 10 years. And so I do have a bit of professional experience and confidence in that matter. But I have even more now. In the last 3 months, I can't even begin to list the amount of amazing experiences that we've had and the ways that I've grown. And it has been absolutely wonderful. Just the bonding even with my sisters, getting to know them, getting to meet people in the community, the public speaking aspect. I think we have all honestly just exceeded our own personal expectations we had set for ourselves. And I have to commend my sisters. We've been working hard.
Yeah, making a lot of good transitions, Yeah, definitely.
What's that song? Sisters are doing it for themselves. Susan can play in the background for us. But to you, Miss Angelina, tell us about it. Welcome.
Okay,
it really is a pleasure.
Thanks for having us. I just want to start by, saying that you have, in order to take on challenges like this and experiences, you have to believe in yourself, Choose courage over comfort at all times, because within yourself, you have to know that you're capable of doing it. You have to just put your foot out there and say, okay, I'm going to do it. And that's how you're here, where you are.
And as I listen, that's with everything. Whatever you want to do, you need to be courageous. You need to be willing.
Yes.
But what about the supporting cast, that support system that we have? Whether it's the parent, the spouse, whether it's the sibling, whether it's a good friend, someone. Is that important?
I've been getting a lot of support, from my friends, family, even hairdressers that I've been to before, and they've choose to sponsor me, and that's a great help to me as well too. And just, Inspire Cayman Training, they're like my family, they are my family.
Michael,
not
guys,
only my sponsor. Yes, sir. Mr. Michael Miles.
And I think that's when you say that's where the corporate sponsorship or the sponsorship comes in, because it's not just about helping to defray the cost. It's saying, I believe in you enough to align with you, brand with you.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it takes a village. The last 3 months have proven that. It takes a village to run in a pageant. But, I'm sponsored by Compass Media, and I have to just give them the most heartfelt thank you, because not only are they a corporate sponsor and supporting me financially and lifting me up in that regard through this pageant, but like my boss, Cheryl Birch, she's been there every step of the way. I got a message right before I walked in here just telling me how much she's proud of me and how much she supports me, and she won't be able to make the pageant, but she's there in spirit. And it's been like that every day, Let's see the photos of the dresses that you're looking at. Let's talk about what you're going to say on this interview, and with my family too. I mean, they are very excited. So I think, and even beyond that, just the community. Like when we were in the motorcade, just driving through Cayman, seeing the people just on their way to do their Saturday errands, so supportive, so excited. I really loved that. That is my core memory from this entire experience. Definitely. It was just happiness and support, and Cayman loving their girls.
So crucial.
Yeah, it was amazing, my heart was full after the event, and meanwhile in the event as well too, just to see all of my sisters, and like she said, the whole of the island, our community, our people.
I wonder to what extent though, you, and not just as contestants individually, but through this process you get to see Cayman in a different light. Only if you wish, because we have perceptions about people and about places and events and things, and then when you standing on the other side, sometimes looking in, could be different from when you're on the outside and it's reading outside. Whitney?
Yeah, I think there's good and bad with everything, right? I think that being in the community, and especially with all of my collaborations and charity work with all of the nonprofit organizations, that has been a wonderful experience. I have met so many people that have values very aligned to my own, and I really love that about Cayman, is that we're such a small community, but people are so willing to help, whether it's Plastic Free Cayman, Mangrove Rangers, Environmental Conservation, or like NCVO, the Crisis Center. I won't list them, but I've been to quite a few events, and I love the way that this opportunity has put me into those circles of people that really care and want to uplift the community. And then on the other side, there's always going to be misconceptions about pageantry and what it means to run in a pageant. There is the traditional sort of opinion of, it's a woman being objectified, but that is certainly not the case. I don't think it ever really was. I think that pageantry has always been about finding a great role model and a strong woman that will inspire younger women globally. But there is always going to be people that have that certain mindset, and you can't always change people's minds. All you can do is put on a smile and try and change as many lives as you possibly can.
Yeah. I believe in teamwork, definitely, as we all are supposed to be one. So like she said, there is good and bad, but together we should stand as one, to elevate each other and motivate one another, to surround ourselves with a lot more of positivity that can, that we can gain a lot from it, and, create a better way in life, together as... But I love Cayman, and I love everywhere else, but we're one.
All right, so when we come back from the break, if you wish, tell us about your journey, and then we can talk about maybe the things that are important to you. Okay. Give our listeners a chance to, maybe share with them hear a little bit more from you. That'll be fine?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, listen. Take your pen and your paper. Forget about your recorders. Make notes. Stay tuned. We'll talk today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
For the record.
For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you.
For the record.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM for Cayman's Straight Talk Morning Show. For the record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the record. Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Attention Cayman Brac Civil Service Association members. The Cayman Brac System member backpack distribution will take place Thursday, August 4th from 12 until 6 p.m. at the Aston Ruddy Center. Backpacks are limited and on a first-come, first-served basis. Members should bring identification to speed up the collection process. If you are collecting bags on behalf of another member, please bring a written signed note from that member with a copy of their ID. The Cayman Brac Siska AGM will take place on Friday, August 5 from 12 until 2 p.m. in the conference room of the District Administration.
JN Money presents the official Jamaica 60th Independence Celebrations on Friday, August 5th at the Lion Center. Featuring from Jamaica, General Degree. Alongside Erica Asai, Leroy Evans, Rose Gold, Dream Chasers Dancers, and much more. There will be kids talent contest, best dress, and a dancing contest. Lots of prizes and giveaways, plus the best Jamaican food all day long. Health fair from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. where you can get your PSA, diabetes, and blood pressure checked for free. Music by DJ Bengal and MC Lady T. Don't miss the Jamaica Independence Celebrations Friday, August 5th at the Lion Center, featuring General Degree. Admission is absolutely free. Sponsored by Kingston 62, Best Dressed Chicken, Popeyes, Royal Medical, Kmart Discount Store, People's Choice Grocery, Nathan General, Hot 104.1 FM, Cayman Airways, Cost You Less, Radio Cayman, and Breeze FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And just a reminder, Miss Cayman Universe comes up this Saturday. Wow, already. See, I told you it's going to go fast. Contestant number 1, Miss Whitney Foster. Contestant number 8, Miss Angelina Brown. Ladies, thanks very much for sharing. I know, I think you've alluded to on many platforms, just here a few times alone. Yeah. Your schedule, your day is jam-packed.
Yes, sure is.
So I'm going to be amenable and, thank you so much. But with that, Miss Angelina, as I know you have to exit at 12:45 to get to another engagement.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with you this segment. Tell us about it, your journey, what made you want to get into it. How has it been so far? I mean, share with us.
Okay. Well, as a child growing up, I've always been into pageantry. I would put on makeup and I would take pictures with my cousins and just, put on heels sometime, tripping, but I'm walking, get up. And so, and then along I seen, the confident ladies that would represent our island. So it then became something that I have a desire for. So not only that I push myself to be here, but everyone else that encourages me and supports me throughout it. It's amazing, I've gained a lot of self-confidence, and even though I've always been confident, but, just to be like in the public eye, and, I'm always working on me. I'm always building myself. So this is a great opportunity and experience for me to continue doing that.
If it's okay, can I ask, are there anything or particular things that through this that either one you've discovered about yourself that you didn't know? Okay. Start with that.
Okay. Well, I would say with the public speaking, I've grown up with the Cayman and talk, and just me, wanting to develop that and, extend my vocabulary and, just to be able to communicate with people on their level, and I've improved a whole heap, thank God. And like Miss Kimberly says, she say you made a big transition, thank God. So.
And this is it. I think as I listen to you, I'm recognizing that there's growth in all of us, no matter whether you're 5 or 50.
Yeah.
Whitney, I'll hesitant, but I know what I'll share it. Because I think in our society, we don't appreciate the courage and the confidence, the sacrifice that it takes for you guys. You reference, many of us have the perception that it's objectifying, but it isn't.
No, not at all. I think, there's a lot that goes into pageantry, such as public speaking is probably one of the areas that we all struggled with, because it is putting yourself out there in the world and just letting people think whatever they want of you. I mean, that's what this whole pageant is, essentially, right? Is giving people a version of yourself and allowing them the opportunity to come to a decision on who you are and what you stand for. And so there is a stress in that, and a pressure, because you want to say the right things. You want to make sure that people understand what your core values are and who you are as a person, and what your personality is, because we're some pretty fun girls.
Very outgoing.
So you say.
But yeah, it's I think the courage and the confidence that this takes. I had some going in. I have even more now, and I think we all do. Definitely. It's an empowering experience. And I have to thank Cayman, because without their support, I don't think any of us would feel as proud of ourselves as we do today.
Definitely.
And I'm hoping that we as a community would feel as proud of you as we should, because you not just represent us, but you're setting sort of the pace and the path for others to come along and say, hey, it is possible.
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay, yeah. I would say, just to motivate one another and tell them all about the great experiences and, just meeting the other people, even, any nationality, because we all supposed to be as one, like I said, to feel complete within ourselves. So I would say, just believe in yourself, like I said before, and you can be here where we are, and we'll be right behind you to motivate you, to encourage you.
I think many of us need to just do what you said, believe in ourselves.
Yes,
how that
absolutely,
and we'll see ourselves in a more positive light.
Yeah.
Are there particular things that along this journey that helped you to, want to believe in yourselves even more, see yourselves more positively?
I have a saying, it's fake it till you make it, and it's something that I have embraced. I think I've said it a few times.
Yeah, I heard it.
And it's just really, you put yourself out there, you try your best, and that's something that you can be proud of at the end of the day. And eventually it gets a little bit easier, and it gets a little bit easier. And one day you're sitting here on Radio Cayman and you're proud of who you are. So I think that it takes practice, like with anything, with any skill.
And as I listen to you, I'm thinking, Angela, this is about opportunity.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a sport that you want to learn, if you don't have that opportunity to try it and to be encouraged in it and to be able to come out repeatedly to participate in it, you'll never get that.
Yes, sir. I would say, once you're a confident person as well, too, you worry about what people have to say about you too, but from your confident, you're putting yourself out there. I'm a very outgoing person, so I'm a people's person, so I make it where I go, thank God. And like I said, once you just continue to put yourself out there and you have that mindset, you can make it. Yes, sir.
What Saturday is just, a couple of days away, right? No pressure. What do you want? Start with you, Angela. After this, I mean, you continue life's journey. What are some of your hopes and expectations, dreams, aspirations? Okay. What does it look like for you after this?
Okay, well, I would say I would represent my island to the best of my ability, as I've, always been doing. But I would not only do that, but I would encourage others, like we were talking about earlier, to be where I am today, to take that mindset and make yourself know that you can do it, Just I'll only not motivate people, but I'll put together programs in order to somehow, motivate, like I said already, and just to keep the community as one,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
A sense of unity that we want. I mean,
unity, love, and peace.
Yeah,
yes,
sir. It's not a Bob Marley song right now. But it takes that village, and it shouldn't just be a cliche. It's about working together.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do we bring us together, though, Whitney?
That's a big question.
Tell me so I can make a note of this.
I think that honestly, unity comes from listening. Mm-hmm. I have many plans for after this pageant, win or lose. I'm really excited for the opportunities that have opened their doors to me. But I think that most importantly, I plan to listen. I plan to listen to the youth in Cayman, what they find important, what they value the most, and our elder community, everyone. I want to hear all of the different perspectives that Cayman has to offer, because we have such a diverse community here. And I think that the only way to further unify and encourage the community to unify is to understand what they need.
Listening.
Yeah.
And active listening is a skill. It can be taxing and tiring, but it's so crucial. Yeah. Is that a problem with societies, Cayman and elsewhere? Too many people talking, nobody listening.
Yeah.
We're talking at, not with.
Yes.
I think especially with social media, it's all about the photos and the opinions that you put up there that are rather doctored, I would say. We try our best to be our genuine selves, but people always have their own opinions when they're on the other side of that screen. So I think that social media definitely lends a hand to a disingenuous sort of energy in the world. But it's difficult. That's a difficult question.
But you've answered, I think quite eloquently. And I think that's one of the things that both you and Angelina have shared. Find a way to come together more. Recognize that we are more alike than we are different. Yes. And let that, I think of food, nothing better than a buffet where you have all of these, family and friends, and they're bringing different dishes, and you can try a little bit. Yes, it's beautiful.
It is, yeah, definitely. When you all come together, it's, and then everyone is, all about peace and, just building each other for positivity, and, like that, we should make it with God's help.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I said one love, one heart. Let's get
together.
All right. And that's what it should be about. You look at so many things that are happening globally now, and the willingness for people to not just push the envelope, but to provoke others to a negative response.
Yes,
would be much easier if our actions were genuine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's something to be said about just being honest. Just no matter what, there is a risk. There's always a risk, and people are scared of others' reactions and whether or not they'll be liked. But at the end of the day, I go to sleep happy knowing that I am proud of myself and I like who I am. Other people's opinions don't need to necessarily matter, but we do need to have collaborative conversations, because like you said, the world right now is a little bit of a mess. There's a lot going on that we need to talk about.
I won't get into it, but I keep thinking back to Mia Motley's comments. She said 200 people. There's 8 billion people in the world, and she could identify 200 that were causing a mess in the world. I have a solution for that, but that's a different story.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I'll tell you, sister. I'll tell you that. But this is why I'm hoping that on Saturday evening, as we come out as an audience, as family and friends, and we're cheering you on. They were cheering on all.
Yes.
And then when we leave, it's not about the glam and the glee, but it's about, hey, how do we bring this community together? I know, Ms. Angelina, you've got your engagement.
Yes.
As we go into the break, any closing thoughts you may want to leave with our listeners?
Okay, like I said all throughout it, you know, just to believe in yourself and know that you are capable of whatever you put your mind to. Because I've been in situations where I've thought, you know, I wouldn't want to make it or, you know, go to a certain path but then I made a turn, you know, and I'm here where I am today. And if I can do it, anyone else can do it. Yeah. Yes, for sure.
And this is why I'm hoping that we see not just the reality, but we see the realness in people. And we see that we all have, you know, youthful discretions, we have transgressions, missteps, as the Honourable Premier spoke to. Lots of things happen in our lives.
Yes, sir.
But until you're, you know, no longer in the land of living, there's always hope and opportunity, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, may I wish, you know, a wonderful, prayerful, very blessed pageant, but a very productive and safe rest of the week as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
We're going to pause and take a break. Miss Whitney, you'll stick around for a bit?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Want to sing a song when we come back?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Susie, going to join us? All right, we're going to... I think I know.
I wouldn't have mind singing a little part too.
Okay, let's sing a song as we go. What song do you want to sing? Let's go. Come on.
Don't worry about a thing.
Come on. Because
every little bit. I thought
it's going
to be singing. Don't worry about a thing.
Yeah.
Because every little thing is gonna be alright.
I rise up this morning.
Rise with the rising star. 3 little birds. It's actually 8 of us.
Yeah. You know
9,
what?
10, 11.
This is the love that we should share and feel every day.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thankfully, scripture say, make a joyful noise. I don't know what it was, but it was joyful.
Yes, sir.
All right, you have a great afternoon. And when we come back, Miss Whitney will continue with us.
Sounds good.
All right, stay tuned.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office. Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Superior Auto is pleased to announce the grand reopening of the new Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center on Seymour Drive. New opportunities, new beginnings, a new home for Caymanian youth seeking career training and certification in high-demand trades such as automotive repair, AC, refrigeration, and so much more. Put the value in your pocket. Fun fact, the average hourly rate for a tradesman can be 4.5 times the minimum wage. The Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center is a not-for-profit program. Contact 949-9570 or 525-9571 to apply today. The Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center, successfully building the next generation of hardworking Caymanians since 2010.
As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Cistern water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use after a hurricane. Simply leave the water for 1 minute after it begins to boil, or to disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us. And thanks too to contestant number 1, Miss Whitney Foster, for sitting in for a bit and share with us. Sponsored by Compass Media. Hey, we're collaborative and not competitive.
I appreciate that.
This coming Saturday, though, I mean, it's like it's not unlike the school year. You know you have finals coming up. It may even be your final year before graduation. So you're looking forward to it in a sense with, exhilaration, excitement. But then it's like, oh, it's going to be over. All my friends and. You no longer exams, but then you don't have the class.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the pageant, all of this hard work that we have poured into this process, but I am very sad, honestly, because we have spent pretty much every hour that I am not either at work or in the gym, I'm with these girls. And I have to say, we have such a great group of girls this year. We are all very supportive. There's no real negativity at all. And it's just allowed us to grow and to bond in a way that I'm going to be very sad not to spend every day with them. I don't want to cry.
No, don't. Yeah. No, but this is true because you become connected. You're sisters, right?
Absolutely.
I was thinking too, as we look through this process, you said it perfectly earlier. A lot of the skills are transferable. But what are some of the things that you will be able to take with you beyond this? I'll give us an example. One of the contestants long back always wanted to get into exercise and would exercise, but it wasn't a priority because of work and life and the like. But with the pageant and the discipline that came with having my exercise days this day at this time has now become a part of her life. I wouldn't want to say how many years since. And it's been good for her mentally, physically, in every which way. So those are the things that help you to develop. What else would be part of, this journey that taught you that continues in a positive way for your life?
Yeah. I would say that healthy lifestyle has absolutely been a big impact in my journey to the crown. But I keep saying it. It's just the opportunities to help nonprofit organizations here in Cayman. I'm very involved with quite a few different charities, and I'm really excited to use the voice that I now have. Win or lose, this is not the last you've seen of me. I promise you that. Because
what is it?
I think that there's a lot of people that have just come up to me at the grocery store and in parking lots and whatnot and just said, you're doing amazing work and thank you for advocating for these things.
If it's okay, and I don't want to take license, but for me, an individual that has either found a voice, has developed the confidence to be able to say, let me share that voice in a very positive, responsible way, but not shying away from the difficult things. This platform gives us the opportunity to not just bring attention to something that's important, but help that thing, get noticed, get action. We talk a lot about environmental conservation and the like, but for some, it's just a PR and lip service. For others, it's a genuine passion, like you. Very, very passionate about it.
Absolutely. I think a good way to describe it is a little story about, I grew up, my family spent every long weekend, every holiday in Little Cayman. And so I would spend hours on the kayak, just kayaking around the mangroves and looking at all of the little fish, going snorkeling with my family and just absolutely loving the beautiful coral reefs. And as I've grown up, I've noticed now today that those little fish in the mangroves, few and far between. Those coral reefs, they're sun bleached, there's plastic and fishing line tangled in them. You're seeing dramatic changes in our environment. And these are things that you take them for granted when you're a kid. You see them every day. It's like, oh, that's beautiful. Onto my dollies. But now that I'm seeing this disappearing, it's frightening, and it's something that I want the future generations of Cayman to love and embrace the way that I did. And so environmental conservation, I have to give a big shout out to Plastic Free Cayman, the Mangrove Rangers, the National Trust, Protect Our Future. There's so many organizations that are doing really important work right now. And like with Ollie Rush being here for the Grand Swim, that was an amazing publicity opportunity. And I think that it gave Plastic Free Cayman some real momentum behind talking about single-use plastics and talking about ocean conservation. And I'm excited to see where this goes from here. But it's not my responsibility. It's not your responsibility. It is our responsibility to protect our oceans and to make sure that the future generations of Cayman know what we're talking about.
And this is something that, with you and through you, maybe we'll have this dialogue now, because take to, as you were talking about growing up and seeing the fish. In my household, my father is and was very, very, very adamant. How do you interact with the fish? Which fish are you allowed to take? At what size? When you went amongst the coral and the reef in particular, the expectations. It wasn't that he was a marine biologist or an environmentalist. There were no marine legislation. He just understood the importance of it because that was passed down. I wonder to what extent then we, as the people who live here, the younger generations, the people who have been here, just in recent times, the public pundits from across the oceans, how many understand the importance of doing this? Because like you, it's important. It's not just about PR.
Yeah, it's difficult to gauge, to be honest with you, because there is a lot of PR involved with it. But at the end of the day, like, that's fine. You know what? If you're going to post, you're still going to post, and it's going to start a conversation somewhere. Okay. But I think,
and I. No, it's. I let me interject just because sometimes the platform, but this is where the passion comes in. For me, I want us to be to a space where we look at, well, let's not dump our litter over there. Let's discard it properly.
Absolutely.
If we're recycling, as many of us are doing, we want to be confident that we're separating, if that's what we're supposed to do, but it's not all being recombined and hidden away somewhere, and we're being duped, as some allege. Or if it's, okay, let's get single-use plastics out, but can we do more? Would there be a program to make sure our homes are much more energy efficient? Are we using air conditioning systems? Do we need to be using them as often? What about installation? Are there things that may be a significant financial investment now, but are there going to be, significant dividends to continue to pay? And that's the sort of discussion I think these platforms allow us. Absolutely.
And I do agree. I'm actually planning on building myself a greenhouse. And by greenhouse, I mean like environmentally sustainable house, not the color green.
See, I was going to say I would go with the fuchsia, but no, I already know what you mean.
But yeah, I think that there's so many more opportunities that we should be talking about to go green. Solar power, protecting the land that we have. I know that there's a lot of discussion around this, like arterial road, and I absolutely applaud the Premier for trying to find a way to manage traffic, but cutting a line through the biggest mangrove wetland area that we have on island, it's going to be detrimental.
I think too, as we look at the sort of the global discussions, whether they're coming out of the World Environmental Economic Forum, whether they're coming through the UN or some other entity, we in Cayman might say, well, those are the things that over there, they don't affect us. I've always believed that even in your very house, if you're a single, occupant of that house, what you do will affect others, including you.
Absolutely. Right? It matters. The sunscreen you put on your body when you go in the water, that matters, because it's like there's coral reef friendly versions. And then you look at our oceans, we have stony coral tissue disease. That's something that every single person that gets in the water has an impact on. Cleaning your dive gear, making sure that you're properly sanitizing and you're not damaging the coral reefs that you're diving on. I think that we get a little wrapped up in, the world is so big, what could I do? But each person has a significant impact. And if each person has that same mentality of what can I do, then nothing is ever going to be accomplished, right?
I love that, man. I keep saying to people, if we all give our all, then nobody goes without.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back from the break, if it's okay, we'll chat, and maybe we can ask about, as we look at the environmental considerations, what are we doing in Cayman relative to development? Not just road construction, but how we're building our homes, where we're building our homes, how is that happening? And we talk about anything and everything, and by the end of the day, we solve the world's problems.
Yep, that's the plan.
That's the plan. All right. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Health Services Authority advises the public that the Cayman Islands Hospital Accident and Emergency Walk-in entrance will be temporarily relocated through the front atrium entrance starting Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022, to facilitate resurfacing of the A&D parking lot. The repaving project will take approximately 2 weeks for completion. Bring your own face mask, as masks are still required at all HSA locations. In international news, top U.S. Democrat Nancy Pelosi is visiting Taiwan as part of a tour of Asia, despite sharp warnings from China. The trip, which is not backed by President Biden, is the first by such a senior U.S. official in decades. Pelosi will meet Taiwan's president, then fly out after lunch, the country's official central news agency says. China has condemned the trip as a serious violation that will have a severe impact on China-U.S. relations. Chilean authorities are investigating a mysterious sinkhole that appeared over the weekend in a mining area in the north of the country. Drone footage shows a huge hole on land operated on by Canada's Lundin Mining. Chile's National Service of Geology and Mining has sent specialist personnel to the area, which is about 413 miles north of the capital, Santiago. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Subway's giving you flavor around the clock with the new Chicken Squad sandwich options. Try the classic chicken and bacon ranch, the sweet and savory barbecue chicken, or the chicken cordon bleu. 3 new appetizing and delicious sub options that you can also make into a wrap. The Chicken Squad is available at Subway for only a limited time. Subway, giving you something to cluck about.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And let's invite you to be a part of our discussion. If you so choose, 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. Contestant number 1 in the Miss Cayman Universe pageant coming up on Saturday. Miss Whitney Foster. Now it's this Saturday, I keep saying, but let's tell people 2 things: where, what time, and how to get tickets.
Yes. So you can get tickets from Funky Tangs and Funky Monkey. They are still available for now, but I do think that they will probably sell out by this weekend. And then the pageant doors open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7, and that's going to be in the ballroom of the Westin Hotel on 7 Mile Beach on Saturday. This Saturday.
A wonderful setting, a nice room, and it's even elegance.
Yes, absolutely. Our theme this year is Mystical Sunset. And we know we have beautiful sunsets here, so it'll be nice.
Have you ever seen the Green Flash?
I have, actually. I only recently saw it. I've tried for years and years. I used to sit on the beach with my grandfather, and he'd be like, "It's right there. You got it. You got it. You're about to see it." And nope. But yeah, I did see it recently. It was cool.
And the thing is that, I always thought that this was just a myth, and I've seen it, and it's nothing like seeing is believing, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, did I see that? It was almost like slow sort of. I think, yeah, definitely I saw that. Then I saw it again. Then I saw it again. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think I saw it, if you share with me what you think. Let me go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Time. We go to the beach, many of us, deliberately to watch the sunset. And we watch the sunset, but we don't see it. It's there, it's going down, but we don't stop and focus and take time. Breathe, appreciate, whether you're on the iron shore or you're standing on the dock or you actually have your toes in the sand and you breathe. Be patient for a second. And believe it or not, the sun's going to go down in just seconds. It's setting, but it's just a couple of, probably not seconds, maybe, microseconds.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. Literally, that is the sunset. It's in that time when it happens, right?
Yeah.
And you got to be attentive.
Yeah, you do. And honestly, I think watching the green flash, you learn just how fast the sun moves.
Yeah.
You see it in the sky, it's like, whatever, it'll be there in an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it's setting, you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, don't even blink.
That's it. Don't blink. And that's, I think, why I saw it. You know it's there, you appreciate it, you understand the importance, but you don't even have microseconds, as it were, to just chill for a second. Focus and pay attention. Back to what you were saying, two of us are talking, not enough of us are listening. And how many times have people asked, so how you doing? And before you could even, they're out the door and down the road and in their cars and screaming away.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing? Well, actually, my hip, it must be the weather.
Gotta go, bye.
And that is it. And I'm hoping that, as you were sharing, that once we move forward now, beyond the pageant, beyond the activities that are public, that will take time. There was a time it came on where we went visiting. Some of us as children were dragged by our parents. We didn't want to go. And then we go, oh, yeah, but they'll have a piece of cassava cake. Because there was something of exchange. But they made a point to visit. We no longer.
Absolutely. The world seems to be moving a lot faster these days. Mm-hmm. But it kind of brings up in my mind the official platform for Miss Cayman is the National Trust, and they're working really hard to preserve our heritage and our culture. And I think that that's an important feature of our heritage, is that we took the time. We're on island time. We're moving slow. We're appreciating each other. We're taking the time to sit down and really focus on one another. And we got to keep doing it.
Yeah. Only if you wish to ask, and only because of the great intellect that you possess. We are on island time, as some would have a particular connotation. It doesn't mean we don't respect time, but it means that there should be an expectation that, hey, take a minute and enjoy it. Watch the sunset. You're not in a 24/7, 365 rush constantly. But are we not sort of being forced because of the expectations we've imposed on ourselves, the demands of our work and the global environment?
Absolutely. There's definitely a pressure there. I myself succumb to it often because there's so much that I want to do in the day, and there's so much that I want to accomplish, especially through this pageant. I have been busy. But I think what it comes down to is a balance. You have those busy days. We all have those busy days, but it's about prioritizing, finding the time to slow down, even if it's one day a week. That one day a week is not just you spending time with your family, but it's giving you that social battery recharge that you need, if that makes sense.
No, it does, but we're not even doing that. Whether we call it our Sabbath or not, whether even that we debate what day that should be. We get caught up into not just the semantics, but everything that divides us.
Yeah.
For some of us, it was the Sunday lunch with the family. That's been replaced with an outing of heavy drinking and eating. Maybe not as much camaraderie and fellowship. Is it then that we can, in the 21st century, go back to that whether it's a Friday night, whether it's a Sunday afternoon, whether you go to church or not, or whether it's on a fishing, that you bring the family and the friends together and recharge, chill?
Absolutely. I think honestly, in a way, I actually did it through this pageant. Like I would go out a lot with my friends. We'd go get dinner. We'd, go to the bars, do the typical young adult thing. And through this pageant, I have been very busy in prioritizing the gym, healthy lifestyle, getting to bed early, and going to these charitable organizations. And so I always thought like, oh no, I love to like hang out with my friends and go dancing and like go to the bar. I'm never going to change. But now that I actually find that my life is richer.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's just about kind of showing people that there are different ways to have fun and to feel fulfillment and happiness.
If it's okay, let me ask you, because I think, as you were just sharing, too many of us have a misconception of what life should be like. And what to say, that the problem with youth is based on the young. Right? With that in mind, are we at risk of missing out? You've alluded to the pageant has allowed you to be even more disciplined, to prioritize, to understand that, for this period of time, I need to commit and I need to make sure that I connect. In our communities now, our young people and those who are young at heart are constantly going. We're presenting a facade, as it were. Our pictures online always represent certain things that may not be a reflection of reality. Are we false and fooling ourselves? Not a hard question at all.
No, I don't think that. I think I understand why the young Caymanians and young adults everywhere are, putting up that facade and pushing themselves. They were raised in a very weird time with social media and just the absolute loudest broadcast of every aspect of your life. And whereas we grew up, I had a dial-up internet, little rotary phone or Nokia cell phone,
Yeah.
So there's a difference. There's a shift in the way that you grow up nowadays and the way that you mature. And I think it'll be very fascinating to see the way that these younger adults grow up and mature. I had a friend say something really interesting to me in that, when you think about mental health issues with young adults in general, when we were young, we were slowly introduced to, I guess you could say, the issues, the traumas of the world. Nowadays, they pick up a phone and every single thing that they want to know or they need to know is right there, and it's in their face. It's screaming at them. It's information overload. And so it doesn't give their brains are still developing. It doesn't give them the time to form opinions before there's more information in their face. And so to an extent, you can't blame these kids for struggling to figure out who they are and struggling to find the confidence to be who they are. But I do want to commend a lot of Caymanians with Protect Our Future. They're using those tools and they're advocating for really important initiatives that they value. So.
Is that where then we as their parents, as their teachers, as the coach, the adults need to be a little bit more conscious, more considerate, but make a more concerted effort to ensure that the messaging, their interaction, the information that they have is not skewed in a way that is false, but not only exposed to the negative, to the some of the things that just are wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it is our responsibility as a community to protect the youth in all aspects of life, but especially when it comes to the internet having such drastic positive and negative influences. I think that you're not going to be able to stop it. Right. They're going to see things that affect them, but it's about having an open line of communication, having a support system. And personally, I do plan when I have kids one day to limit their internet access if I can. Who knows? It might be in our brains by then. But there has to be a balance. Yeah.
For what it's worth, my approach, after I talk to security specialists and internet gurus and different people, and some said you put limits on, you put certain protocols that deny access to certain things. I think what was one area that I wish I had been more insistent was timing. You can access it, but only for this amount of time on these particular occasions. That worked for a bit, but as I get older, and sadly the examples that we as adults, I watched today, and I'll come back to my point in a second. I watched today something that I've seen so many times, and it's created a fear in me that a person is walking across the street, hand and eye is in the same direction with the phone, having a conversation or doing something, almost on an automatic pilot, goes to the crosswalk, presses the thing, and starts to walk. Has not stopped to see whether the traffic is coming, has stopped, and just proceeds to walk, saunters across the road.
Yeah.
That honestly, it doesn't take much for the inattentive driver, a blink of an eye, to do something. And you don't have to be going fast. a metal vehicle hitting a body with blood and bone, and it can be dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're sort of disconnected completely from reality once we got these dumb things in our hands.
Yeah, it's an issue, and I will not sit here with hubris and say I have the solution, because I do not.
I don't. I opted to say, to those in my circle, say, you're young, you're smart, you're going to get things on this thing that you go and go look for deliberately. You're going to get things that are going to pop up that you wish, where did that come from? I don't want to see that. Whatever that thing is, it could be a news feed, it could be something, very offensive to you. You just need to be in a position to know, what am I going to do with that? And I found that to be a way to give them the independence, but the skill set to navigate from it. If it's not something they want, come back to it as something that they should explore later. Or, hey, you know what? This is it, and deal with it. But you have that dialogue. Yeah, it's a valuable lesson that I think that young people are learning a lot earlier than we did in life. But it's about analyzing, interpreting, and just kind of making the application for themselves, personal, right? Yeah, and it's not to say that your opinion always has to be perfect or your response always has to be perfect. We are human, but it's about learning to navigate the different experiences in life and growing from them. In a different world, or in a different time, if you were asked, start with Cayman, what are some depressing things that either we're not addressing significantly or we're sort of, kicking the can down the road, we've ignored it? To your mind, are there particular things that have... Yeah, I would say, there are all things that are being addressed, but I would love to see more conversations. Obviously, environmental conservation. I also think that there's a lot of people in Cayman, especially young Caymanians, that are concerned about the cost of living. I think that is something that, even for me, it scares me, because I grew up here. I grew up in a very different Cayman, and I would hate to rob that of the future generations of Cayman. Beyond that, I think there's lots of different things, but those two and overdevelopment, they all play hand in hand. They play hand, right? I mean, we see the economics of the competing sort of dollars for the labor and the other resources. You got a guy who is willing to do a job for you, and someone else says, I pay more for the same work. I want it done now. Whether they can afford it or they justified it. Most people say, well, I come at you, but let me go get this now. Yeah. And then there's a cost. And that ties right into the cost of living. They're just trying to put food on the table and pay for their homes. And then that turns right into environmental conservation, cutting corners, overdeveloping, Right. Yeah. It's kind of like what our parents talk about, a penny saved is a penny earned, right? A penny. We're not probably seeing that. We need more income because things are more expensive. But to get that more income, the price of those things have to go up to pay for that more income. And then it's just a vicious cycle that creates, increased costs. With that in mind, though, and the idea that the sacrifice, our parents worked hard. They sacrificed. They went without certain things at certain times. Their parents did. I wonder what we're doing today in this world of instant gratification. We can't afford it, but we're going to find a way to get it. Yeah. And now we got it, and how do we pay for it? Oh. I think we've kind of lost that, honestly, that sense of sacrifice and the weight and the responsibility that comes with it because of instant gratification. I think that, you don't have to wait for anything. Yeah. You don't have to work too hard. I mean, there are things like, trust me, this pageant, I've been working hard. But I think we know. It's a shift in dynamic and mindset. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. We could harness that instant gratification and use it to our advantage in that, we have the world in our hands. Is it then humility? Because as you were talking, that's the word that resonated with me. Humility. We need more humility. Start with us, the individual. Exhibit and exercise greater humility. That would probably come with greater love and greater respect. Is that what's potentially lacking in some ways? We don't somehow have that humility. I think so. Humility and perspective. We get so wrapped up in our own life that we forget to realize how diverse Cayman is and how many different
perspectives we do have just on our shores.
Yeah.
And by understanding and putting yourself in someone else's shoes, you gain that humility.
Yeah.
And you gain that respect for others, I would say.
And for me, that's one of the most beautiful things, that we have that diversity here. I can learn without traveling that far, right, about so many people, their cultures, their foods, what their communities are like, because they live and work here. And when they're sincere about what it's like, we have this perception, I think, that if the person comes from North America or Europe, that they may come from wealth, that they may come from this level of niceness. And really and truly, they probably come from squalor, right? Certainly, it isn't anything as nice as what they found here. But sadly, we're quick to castigate the people that may come from the region or from some other world as if they're coming from poverty and the like. They probably come from a better space, less pollution, traffic congestion. The train ride to work isn't 3 hours each way. What the founders got together. Okay, they didn't have the material things, but maybe they had a better life.
Yeah. I think it's Bob Marley that said, like, what is rich?
Mm-hmm.
Is it money, or is it like happiness and health and family and togetherness?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what is the true definition of happiness in life?
Mm-hmm.
It should.
But are we seeking that? I call it joy. I used to say contentment, but it was joy. Don't let the devil steal your joy. We're lacking joy, and we're trying to fill it and pursue it in a way with the material things. But
absolutely,
to me, wouldn't it not be nice to sit on a Friday evening after a long work week, sit on the sofa, have a meal, talk, and just enjoy each other's company?
Definitely.
And you don't have to be 70, 80. You could be just fresh out of university. You don't have to be at the bar in half hour. You could be enjoying each other.
Yeah, just enjoying company, enjoying life. Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to slow down. Slow down and just enjoy the little moments.
The other week we were on a show, and talked about how you take time, you slow down, you enjoy life, you appreciate what's around you. Sort of like what we were talking about, the green flash. More of us would see it if we would stop for a second and consciously look for it. Now, I'm told environmental conditions need to be present for you to see it.
Yeah.
Right? But when it is, and you may go 10 times and never see it, on that 12th or 18th time you might. But if you don't make an effort and commit to it, how do you get there? In this pageant, in this journey, as you vie for the crown for Miss Cayman Universe, could we ask you, what are some of the things that you did that were perhaps for you? This is new, this is interesting, I think I would do that. Could that be?
Yeah. Well, new and interesting.
Come on a talk show, have to put up with that guy.
No. I actually love the radio. I have some opportunities to be on the radio with the Compass, and I jump at every single chance I get because the radio is so fun. I would say that honestly, putting yourself out there in like a modeling kind of aspect, I've always thought of myself as like a pretty woman, cute, but taking these photos and it's a lot harder than it looks because you think that they're in a natural pose. They are not. It does not feel natural.
Serious?
Yeah. And it's just finding the confidence to hit post and hearing other people's opinions of your body and your face. And
wow. And that's the thing. I mean, because we can be cutting as people, especially if we can hide behind some screen.
Yep.
All right. I want to hear what you're saying. Sit to me face to face. Look me in the whites of my eye. Tell me what you're thinking. And very few people will do that. But they have this sense of, I don't know, comfort, security, because they're behind an anonymous screen.
Yeah. It's a shame. And honestly, there was someone that found their way onto the Miss Cayman Instagram page and was making just some really awful comments. And I'm very thankful that we have such a healthy sisterhood because we all rallied around each other and supported one another when they were saying some truly awful things to some of the girls. And I'll never understand it, how you can be so vicious behind a screen yet so kind face to face. But it's a challenge I have yet to find the solution for.
Well, I don't say it because I'm a saint, but I think there is much information that we can garner from good works. All right, look at a painting and it may make you feel a sense of calm. It may inspire you to the thing. You listen to poetry, and it may just make you feel a certain way or a song. In the scriptures, I talk about chastise in private, and praise in public. I think that's where we're losing out on the important things. You pull aside your friend, your child, and you give them direction and counsel, and you help them to find their way. And then you publicly say while they're alive, hey, great job. Not lying, you're not being sort of deceitful, but you're encouraging them. And for somehow we've switched it around, we want to castigate everybody publicly. Is that...
I don't know. I think that lifting each other up publicly is absolutely what we should prioritize, because when you spread happiness and joy and support, then you're going to receive it as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, just earlier before, Miss Angelina left, our impromptu attempt on my part. You guys sounded great. That's why I kept quiet. Hopefully some will laugh at that and just give them some joy just for a second.
Yeah.
And there's no malice in it. They laughed, and it might be the first time they laughed today. For sadly, some of us, it might be the first time that we can remember laughing. And isn't that unfortunate? Because there's so much things that are happening, so many pressures are on us, so much loss, financial, health, and otherwise. And yet we don't laugh. I make a point, man. I say, if nobody's going to laugh at me, at least I will. I look in the mirror all the time.
Yeah.
That'll get me to laugh.
I think I'm the funniest person I know.
That's right, man. I mean, someone has to laugh at my jokes, right?
Yeah.
and you do that because there is biologically a good thing that happens in your body when you're happy, when you laugh. Right?
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get wound up and caught up into the negativity.
It is. Yeah. And we all need those little serotonin boosts here and there. But I think that with negativity, it takes practice. When you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day, and you're going to dwell on it. And it's about practicing silencing that and figuring out what you can do to put yourself in a better mood.
And I think that's why when we look at stuff we read or the people we associate with, we can draw from other cultures that, for them, it isn't that this thing will be forever. They have a way to respond to it. This thing doesn't define you. That sadness, that unease, it's just a condition. It's now. It doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to be constant. And, you just lost your partner. You lost your job. You may have just laid someone to rest after a prolonged illness or a sudden. Naturally, that should affect you in a certain way.
Absolutely.
But how do you draw alongside so that this isn't the forever state that you will be in? And yet for many of us, we allow people to stay there because we're insensitive to what they're feeling. We're not willing to draw alongside and say, I'm here for you. That has happened. There's no way to change that. But we need to now continue to live as best as we can together.
Yeah. It goes right back to what we were just talking about with taking time, spending time with one another, listening, and just, silencing the outside noise and just being present.
Yeah. There are a couple of individuals that from a distance I observe and know, and whether it's a card game or a domino game or it's a particular evening, and the two things that really resonate with me, they make a commitment and they're conscious with what they're doing to fellowship. That's the word I use. Secondly, it's done responsibly. So whatever food and drink, no gluttony, there's no overindulgence. They don't leave that space in a way that they're inebriated, compromised, or in any way. And everybody ensures that everybody gets home. Now, they're no longer on the the south side of Florida, as it were. Has that come because of wisdom? But when you think of it, some of those have been together for a long time. We need to do more of that. Now, in saying that, I also realize that for many, just like the disciplined approach to making time to exercise, whether it's a walk or a swim or 15 minutes, half an hour, doing some physical exertion, we need to be disciplined in that. But we don't, in our minds, believe that we have the time. I'll get to that tomorrow. Well, tomorrow may never come.
Yeah. It's. If this pageant has taught me anything, it's that there is no tomorrow. There is right now, and you need to do it right now.
All right.
But yeah, I think that we do need to instill, especially in our younger Caymanians, that there is a sense of urgency, but not a rush.
No.
Just a sense of urgency to to start accomplishing the things that you want to, because before you know it, you'll be 28. I'm 28 now, and there's a lot of dreams that I had when I was younger that I'm reaching for, but I probably could have been closer to had I taken the time.
And that's probably one of the challenges too. That when we're young, we either, believe we have our lives ahead of us, as we should. But 18 and then 28, and then next thing you know, you're 60.
Yep.
Have a life plan, but maybe not so caught up in it, because personally, sometimes I think I miss out on some things by being willing to forego the joy now.
Yeah.
I think it'll come tomorrow.
Yeah, there's always going to be, you're going to have a path that you set for yourself and that you see your life going in, but you have to take the side roads every now and then. You have to take the opportunity to kind of get off that path and explore a different opportunity that you perhaps before had no awareness of.
I guess side roads is like the meal, it's the sides that sometimes you enjoy.
I love sides.
I think that's a plan that we should all explore. Want to talk some more when you come back? You're going to be on.
I actually have to jet.
Okay.
I've got lots of
the
stuff
young
to
people's
do.
language. No, man, thank you for the extended time.
Yeah, thank you.
And for what it's worth, I think you sort of embody and should be indicative from the rest of us listening that your journey with your sisters, this is as much about intellectual, as it is about what we talk. It's not about objectifying.
Absolutely.
So you have quite able to demonstrate it.
Thank you.
We can hold our own. Looking forward to having your voice extended more and more in the future.
Likewise. Look forward to being back.
Contestant number 1, Miss Whitney Foster. We're going to pause and take that break. I can't get Susan to sing. Boy, I just might be able to. Today could be that day. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location, ValueMed on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Move with us, Cayman. Fidelity Bank is now Proven Bank. We will continue to serve you with the banking services that you've come to rely on, while moving you to another level of banking experience that you deserve. As members of the Proven Group, Proven Bank keeps your life and money moving. Learn about the Proven difference yourself at provenbank.com. Move with us. We are Proven.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britke. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first. 89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. 8949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp, 925-3261. Is that the number, Ms. Susan, for WhatsApp? Come on, tell us what the number is. 925-3261. I just give them a hard time today. It's good. And for me, it's such a pleasure and a privilege to be able to sit here and be able a chance to come on. Now, we have a phenomenal team, a talented team here at Radio Cayman, and to be a part of it, man, I'm honored to always sit. And on Sunday, I managed to come in quietly and do some things because work has to be done. Well, if you're joining me now and you go in on YouTube, well, it'll be an excellent time to stay there because a good friend, DJ Lynn.
Hey, man. Good afternoon, Sterling, man.
Good afternoon.
I know this is a bit of a surprise to you, but I just thought I'd come in, say hi to yourself, Radio Cayman listeners, and just
thank you.
Feel like spreading the joy today, no?
You know what? Joy is, you're the second, third person today, and that's what's important. We need to put more joy in our lives, man.
Yeah.
People bring joy into your life. You need to add some joy into theirs, and you definitely as a person.
Yeah, for sure. So much things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Even myself, I just want to say thanks to all the Radio Cayman listeners and all the people who have given support to myself. As you know, the last couple of years I've been dealing with cancer and stuff like that. And recently, I had to go back up to Miami for radiation treatment, and got a lot of good support and stuff like that. Friends, family, loved ones. And, so far,
thank God.
Thankful, everything's going well.
I want to publicly commend you. I've shared this with you privately, but we come from a community, I'm sure it's probably sadly that way and elsewhere. The word cancer wasn't even said publicly. It was barely whispered. It was inaudible in many cases, right?
Yep.
And you have, thankfully, brought a lot of courage by sharing your story publicly. That has really, really meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think everyone has their own way of dealing with things. Like we said, cancer was back in the day, something they kept secret. There was almost like they embarrassed. They didn't want people to know. I'm of the frame of mind that the more that we know, the more that we can inform people. We can, ask more questions, get more answers, and But like I said, everyone is different. That's my approach to it. I try to face things head on, and just basically deal with it the best way I can.
Many of us will face things head on, but we face it alone for different reasons.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you allowed us to share with you. Hopefully, our prayers and our support. Yeah,
it's so much too, because it's like, one part of it is the physical aspect of it, but then it's also the daily mental part of it. You have things in your life that you end up questioning. Myself, I have 3 kids, and so I have to get things in order to make sure that they're good if anything happens. So it's some of the things that you're always thinking about, and then it can also affect you, what they call psychosomatic. So like certain times, and I didn't even know about this, and I'm just saying this in case someone else finds themselves in a situation.
Thanks.
Like your mind tells you something and your body will freeze up or react in a way. Like for me, for example, I started getting kind of like cramps and pains in my back. And I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was, the cancer or whatever.
Pregnancy? Was it pregnancy?
But
So
you know, it was just your mind controlling your body.
Yeah.
So once I learned about that, I was kind of able to control a little bit more how I felt. So
yeah. No, and we've joked. You've allowed me to laugh so many times, man. It's amazing, your spirit. I've said it to you, and it's important because we don't know what people feel. We don't know how people internalize, and we don't know what people are going through. We just don't. And with you, man, you have had not just great courage, but you've allowed us to appreciate that this is a journey we can, we can face, and we can face it together.
Yeah, like I said, is every situation is different, and I am extremely blessed, extremely grateful, from where I've been to where I'm at now, because my cancers are very rare cancer. 1 in, I think, is 2 million cancer patients has the type of cancer that I had, which is adrenal carcinoma. And when they found it, it was at stage 4. It was a tumor that weighed 5 pounds, basically the size of a small child.
JJ's head?
Yeah. So, but like I said, I'm just grateful. I'm blessed. My journey has not been easy, but I have a loving wife, beautiful kids, and just the support of friends, family, loved ones, especially my coworkers here already came in.
I'm glad we read the
man, you guys, like, I love and appreciate you guys so much.
No, we're a family here, and I'm hoping that will resonate in our communities. That's what's important. You talk about psychosomatic. My uncle used to say the same thing, but differently. Mind over matter. Right? And we don't understand how your mind is powerful. Your brain can do a lot of things, right? And once you get into your head and get lost, it can paralyze your body. It can create a sense of fear within you that you no longer function.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. And like I say, it's something I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Sometimes you compartmentalize things and say, okay, well, I can put this over here and not think about it for a while, but then it creeps back into your mind. So you just try to figure out different ways to deal with it and try to be positive and move forward the best way you can.
You've been positive. I mean, you share as you have, and you share if you wish, publicly, but you have a love for life, man. You inspire many of us. And facing what you face, the way you face it with such courage, such grace, my friend, it's inspired me.
Yeah, but it's all about your upbringing too, right? My mom and my papa, how they raised me. So, like I said, I'm just grateful, frame of mind that I've been able to keep in this situation. And like we said, just be able to speak to others, inspire others, because, and that's part of it. I want to encourage people who are my age to listen to your body, listen to your mind. If there's something that you don't feel is right, go consult a doctor, especially if you have, family history of cancer or different things like that.
Yeah.
It's important to go get checked. Before, it used to be like 50 and over to do a colonoscopy. And these days, 40 and up, I would say, especially if you have family history.
And I think that's the thing we take for granted, age, for instance, only after this age or not before this age, whatever that thing is. We don't understand the importance of looking after ourselves. Increasingly, the physicians I've interviewed are starting to appreciate that they need to listen more. That whatever the guidelines were when they were training or that may exist now, maybe that's not the case. It's not easy, but it's supposed to be patient-centric. Is that really what is the practice? Well, hopefully that's changing. Let me ask of you now, as you share with us, this idea that we're on this journey, and for many of us, we put off doing certain things, going to the doctors, get our checks. We think about, we'll get sleep later, we'll exercise, we'll do all these things later, not knowing how over time it's compounded, right? We don't do our wills, we don't do a funeral plan, we don't do a lot of things. And then we face life.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny because, a lot of times you think, this is not going to happen to me. This couldn't happen to me or whatever. Right. And then all of a sudden, you're blindsided. And it's like when I was in a situation 2 years ago, it just felt like time just kept getting shorter. And I kept saying to myself, I haven't done all the things that I had planned to do.
Yeah.
My kids haven't grown up.
Yeah.
But, you know, these things can happen. Don't wait. So it's up to you then to, you know, take the opportunity, you know, be prepared. You know, like we said, do your wills, you know, different stuff. Just try to be prepared in life in general.
But even those of us, you know, I'm guilty of it, that still aren't willing just yet to do it. Maybe unconsciously we believe, well, that's part of, you know, if you do that, it's going to bring it about. You know, that sort of, how do you get into a space where you enjoy life, you're responsible, but you're getting joy out of life?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess once you've been scared bad enough, you tend to appreciate the little things a little bit more. And, you know, each day, like I said, for me, especially if days that I'm pain-free, oh man, it's amazing. It's the little things like that. It's like it goes a long way.
Yeah. See, this is it, right? There's some of us that are very positive, very optimistic, and we smile. I've had people accuse me of, you know, I'm saying, but have life. Doesn't mean you doesn't have any problem. There are challenges, trials, and tribulations, but you have life.
Yeah.
And how do we then get people to stop complaining, stop griping, and come grumbling? And just embrace life, man. Look for joy.
Yeah, that's the tricky one, right? So it's all personal.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, frame of mind. I think your upbringing has a lot to do with it. The people you surround yourself with, even the foods you eat, the way that you exercise and stuff, it makes a difference.
And I think having that too, you instill out. You know, you told me your upbringing, then you instill that in your children so that they do that
absolutely.
The same.
And my kids are 12, 14 years old. And I've been talking to them about, you know, the importance of, you know, getting checked when they get older, the cancer, stuff like that, because, you know, it's a family history, you know. So I just want to make sure that they have as much information so that when they get older or whatever, you know, that they can be mentally prepared for anything that may come their way.
I'm hopeful, too, as people listening to us now, that they appreciate the need to enjoy life, but not to be so casual and complacent that they're not, you know, how do you say, committed to contributing as opposed to just taking. I say that to say a good friend, she asked me once, you know, if I had this diagnosis and knew the final days, what would I do? You know, would you climb the highest mountain? Would you sail? You know, what would you do? And sadly, the answer I gave then is the answer I give now. Well, make sure everything's in order. So those who are behind don't have much mess to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And I keep thinking, why would I do that? Why not enjoy life, right? And again, it's something within you that maybe you. It's amazing. I mean, some people will say, "What? I go and see this place now because I haven't seen it before. Or I want to see it again because I can't see that." You know.
You know, you gotta just plan and hope for the best, and then if things doesn't necessarily go your way, just understand how you would deal with it. You know, what approach you would take and how to deal with it. But overall, you know, like I said, just be grateful. You know, there's a lot of people who would love to have the problems that you have.
Yeah.
So
as bad as your problems are, they would love to have those problems. And that is something that you reminded us, you know. How many of us now realize that we have first world problems? Which car we drive today?
And I know we got to get to break, but one thing I would like to, you know, remind people of availability. A lot of us don't know how to communicate to someone when they find out, oh, well, you know, they have cancer or maybe they lost a loved one or something like that. All I can say is availability. Make yourself available to someone, and it allows them to express themselves. You know, you might not necessarily have the right answers for them, but being available to them, be a listening ear, it goes a long way.
Listening. Huh. If you didn't hear it earlier, you're hearing it again. Listen. All right. Well, we're going to take a break. Your call, my friend. You can sit with me if you want.
No, I think I'm good. I want to say, once again, thank you to Radio Cayman listeners. Love you guys very much. Appreciate it. Sterling, good to be on here with you, man.
Blessings,
thank
man. A couple of people messages to say that you constantly remain in their prayers, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, DJ Lynn. All right, let's pause and take a break. Susan, when they come back, what are we going to do? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Back to school. Education is knowing the best back-to-school specials are at Reflections. Step into savings with up to 50% off selected footwear brands. Buy 1 pair and get the second pair of back-to-school shoes at 25% off. Save 50% off on all U.S. Polo handbags and backpacks. Ladies, don't miss the amazing daily deals in the clearance section on special selected women's fashions. Keep it classic with Levi jeans in a wide variety of styles and sizes from 28 to 48. And for the freshest gear, check out the new stock of Nike, Puma, Adidas, Johnny Cotton, and more. The best back-to-school savings are at Reflections. Find them on Shedden Road beside the Mango Tree. Open daily from 9 a.m. till after dark.
We'll be the coolest kids in school.
The Department of Environmental Health would like to advise Cayman Brac residents that due to elevated seasonal temperatures, garbage collection services will now start at 4 a.m. during July and August. To avoid missed collections, please place your garbage in the enclosure a night before your scheduled pickup. For more information, contact the DEH office in Cayman Brac at 948-2321.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is Open Line, and thanks to DJ Lynn for the courage and the willingness to share with us. He has done so publicly, and as he just shared, just want to come in and say publicly thanks to all of our listeners, to all who continue to support. And I think this is where our community draws alongside. I mean, one of our listeners, Mario Rankin, just messaged and say, hey, make him know that he's in our prayers, continue to be. And I said to share that for this community, for me anyway, from my perspective, this is what's important. We're positive. We draw alongside each other with support. We have to nurture. We pray for and we pray with. And for many, we subscribe to that, and that's what sustains us. But as DJ Lynn said, make yourself available. Be there to listen. You may not have the answer, but you're listening here. And just be available. That's important. And I don't believe if there were any sort of concerted theme today, it couldn't be any more structured and programmed. There wasn't. But what do we hear? People who say, listen, be available, find joy, and the like. It's really, it's just one of those things. And I think we need to increasingly look at where we are. 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, or WhatsApp, 925-3261. Now, for those who are listening to us, and certainly appreciate you sharing, and looking at a couple of comments quickly, I didn't get a chance to just read them properly to be able to respond, but one of the listeners asking the whole issue relative to what are we doing about continuing the pace of development, the increased population. It's quite a long email. Or a message, try to read it during the next break. But just scanning, the listener obviously has said referencing the census report, still trying to go through and digest it, seeing the increased population. I've scanned it down quickly, and I've said, sometimes when you read it fast, you may in fact, miss some of the salient points. But two of the questions that quickly stood out, not because it's a small screen, but one is, do we continue to trust information that's disseminated, not only from the source, but the collection? When we're providing information, do we provide it accurately? And then the other sort of part of that sort of stands out is the whole issue now, what will we do with this information? With that in mind, let me ask you, how many of us have looked at the census data? How many of us have any interest in looking at it further? And how many of us are of the view, well, what are we going to do with it next? We know governments, politicians in particular, say they want information, they want accurate, timely data in order to make informed decisions and be able to ensure that whatever it is that government is doing responds to the needs of the community, not just then, but in the future. So, any perspectives from our listeners relative to where we are now that the census information is in the public domain? Are you looking at it? Do you understand it? What does it mean to you? Is it now that you have other questions? Have the questions you had been answered? Are you looking at it from the perspective of, well, what we are trying to achieve? 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us. And it's interesting, what we've been looking at and thinking and wondering. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261. This quick message from this listener is sharing that as Cayman goes into the summer and the expectation that temperatures will rise, does government have any sort of plans relative to looking at not just the impact of climate change, but the consequences of the continued pace of development? This individual sent a photo of a particular area that now, because of the recent rains, has a larger accumulation of birds and wildlife. The photo prior the person shares was just not that long ago, and now with the signage in the background saying that this is a site now slated for a development project. And the comment is, well, what happens now when this project is built on this site? What will be the consequence to the wildlife? Well, it's probably like many other places, as we displace the birds and the natural habitats for many in order to put housing, accommodation, or commercial properties, for us as people. How do we strike that balance? Do you think that we've gone too far? Is it irreversible? Is it, as one of the other comments from before, do we need to put pause and put in place some sort of moratorium? And if we do, well, what is the cost of that? Whatever money that comes from continued development and the employment prospects, are we able to continue and live that lifestyle that we've become accustomed? Well, if you have a perspective, especially in light of the census data, give us a shout and share your thoughts. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us as we invite you to be a part of the discussion. It only feels like Tuesday, and we're just into the second day of this month of August, and already I think we're feeling how incredibly hot the temperatures are outside. And maybe for some of us, it's because we're a lot older, we think, man, it wasn't this hot when we were younger. But maybe it is a sign of what's to come, and what if so can we do about it? Perhaps an advice of those who know better, stay hydrated, try your best to stay as cool as possible and enjoy the cool breeze when you can. But think also too of your pets. Look at your children as they're playing, that they don't necessarily overexert themselves. But what about our elderly? Now, not just the family pet, but some of us have cattle, livestock, and the like. probably requiring increased attention. Again, some would share that as they move about in their cars, or does this increased heat impact the car in a negative way in terms of the engines and the like. If it hasn't been serviced, maybe it's a good time to do so. All right, let's pause and take that break. When we come back, more Talk Today.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cable.
Praise time.
Praise Him, praise Him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise Him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise Him, praise Him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my faith in your hand. Rock my soul in the blues of my faith in your hand.
Praise time.
I know He cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Effective August 30th, 2022, CIBC First Caribbean will adjust its KYD and USD prime rates from 4.75% to 5.50%. This adjustment is in response to the change in the U.S. federal funds rate announced by the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee in the United States on July 27th, 2022. In international news, a man allegedly found with a crossbow in the grounds of Windsor Castle on Christmas Day has been charged under the Treason Act. He also has been charged with threats to kill and possessions of an offensive weapon. He is in custody and will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on August 17th. The Met said he was stopped within moments of entering the grounds and he did not enter any buildings. China has branded a landmark visit to Taiwan by U.S. Speaker Nancy Pelosi as extremely dangerous. It accused Mrs. Pelosi, the most senior U.S. politician in 25 years to visit the island, China claims, as its own, of playing with fire. Those who play with fire will perish by it, Beijing warned in a statement. Mrs. Pelosi said her visit honors America's unwavering commitment to supporting Taiwan's vibrant democracy and did not contradict U.S. policy. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
We wanna go and dally.
Backyard, Caymanian and Jamaican cuisine. 7 Mile Beach might have changed, but Backyard is bringing it back. True Caribbean food in the heart of 7 Mile, just like Mama's home cooking. Brown stew snapper, Cayman style beef, jerk chicken, turtle stew, and the delicious list goes on. Dine in, take out, or order with the Bento app. Backyard, Caymanian and Jamaican cuisine, 269 West Bay Road, or call 746-4603. Backyard, daily lunch specials, and the one-of-a-kind Fun Day Sunday brunch.
Backyard.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts. And a quick comment during the break. Someone shared, it's good to live in a country where increasingly we're seeing freedoms being expressed. They're referring to the Pride Parade over the weekend, and seeing people not only being encouraged, not only having the courage, but we provide the opportunity for people to express themselves. So, what is your perspective? Were you a part of it? What do you think of the whole, dynamic as it unfolds in Cayman? Are we getting to a space where we're not only inclusive, accommodating, accepting, tolerant, but we're respectful and loving? Hey, give us a perspective. 949-8037, toll free with the compliments of Flo, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts. Now, many of us were in attendance, some of us were working, some of us were, busy with other things and didn't get to go for different reasons. But if you were there, and if you weren't, if you have a perspective, well, I invite you to share with us. We see increasingly that many people across the globe want to be able to find a space, a safe space to express themselves, to be able to, not to use the word improperly, but to demonstrate, to be able to showcase, portray, and to be their true selves. Now, we know from many who participated that they thought, well, some of the rules that were put in place were perhaps counterproductive from the perspective that, well, if you're expressing freedoms, should you be restricted in how you do that? Then there are those who countered to share, well, we want to draw attention to the cause and not necessarily get distracted by antics, behavior, or other expressiveness. And I guess that is the balance. And trying to promote freedoms, you restrict perhaps some. Is that what is necessary? Is the message resonating much more loudly if you can focus on it and not be distracted by, other behaviors, however colourful the pageantry may be? Well, your thoughts. 949-8037, toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share with us. It's interesting as I reflect on the discussions we've had with all the contestants. The upcoming Miss Cayman Universe pageantry taking place this coming Saturday evening. So if you want to go, get your tickets. And if you got them, well, certainly have a wonderful, elegant evening. But as I was reflecting on the three discussions I think we've had with the contestants, recognize that they all share similar things in that it's about discipline. They have to prioritize. They have to ensure that not only is there a level of commitment with their practices and honoring their engagements and the like, but it isn't as perhaps many of us have as a perception, where it's about just beauty queen, crown, glamour. There's a lot of hard work that comes in. For many, they have to work and balance their engagements, their training and the like, from the public speaking to the practicing as how to gracefully move across the stage. And we're probably seeing, as they've shared with us, that there are many skill sets that they'll develop, hopefully excellent habits that they'll continue to employ as they go through their lives, from things relative to having a list to do, having structure in their lives, to maybe looking at their eating habits and choices, to the corporate and exercise, to getting necessary rest, to being able to not just prioritize certain things, but to ensure that certain things increasingly are readjusted in their lives. Maybe they edit out much of the things that they were doing that were perhaps distractions or not as fulfilling, not as beneficial, or as they do it, maybe they don't need to do that as often or in that particular way. Good habits to develop that would take them through life. Now, saying that, are there also other things similar to what we see the training could we do for others who may not, for whatever reason, want to get into pageantry, but others who are not female, who may say, well, what about our other young men? Are there things that we can do to put them through a structured programming? It's sort of what has been alluded to many times. If we provide opportunities for people that they can get the necessary insight, develop a sense of experience as they introduce to something, they not only could come to a space where they welcome and value and appreciate what they have, but they could come to a space where they see that through a consistent, concerted effort, they can not only contribute more, but they can gain more from what lies before them. All right, well, in the height of the summer, and some of you have already traveled and returned, some of you have yet to book your flight and just anxious await, when Cayman Airways is going to take you to your next destination. Well, as we're into the summer, share with us some of the things that you're hoping that we would be doing, and perhaps even encourage us to live vicariously through you initially of what you will be doing. Whether your travels will just take you to the sister islands, or whether you might just take an extended stay on an island here, or whether you have friends and family that you haven't seen in what seems like centuries, and now you're anxious to wait in to go visit them. And there are those who will take an extended holiday because they can, because there are things transpiring and they feel, well, if nothing was learned from the last couple of years, is that one thing's for sure, life can be most unpredictable, and people can be almost unforgiving. And maybe for that reason, some of us have decided that this is the course of action we're going to take. Well, share with us if you wish on any topic that you choose. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. It's a flow toll-free call, and certainly avail yourself of that. But if not, here's another number that you can send a WhatsApp as a voice note, otherwise 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us. Or we were earlier at a presentation where two parents had shared that something they face increasingly every summer, and had invited some other, to partner, potential stakeholders. The two parents indicated that over the years, but for 2020 and to a limited extent in 2021, they were trying to find a way to bring their resources, their collective resources together to engage children. The impetus, one parent said, was that one, the children are out of school, and if you were financially able to engage your child for every week or as much of the summer as you wanted, financially it could prove to be very expensive. But secondly, even if you did that, many of the activities were perhaps up until 12, 1, 2 o'clock, and there was still an extended period in the day where the younger child in particular needed still a level of engagement / supervision. And so they were asking, well, what is it that we can do so that we're catering to all of the children and not looking at it from the financial perspective. All right, we're going to pause quickly, take a very short break, and when we come back, more Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Breitling watches are defined by quality, innovation, and style, and you have the chance to win one in August during Kirk Freeport's 50th anniversary sweepstakes. Each month, lucky shoppers have the chance to win a piece of jewelry or a watch from luxury brands. Every purchase of $100 at any Kirk Freeport store gains you entry into the monthly drawing, so stop in today. Next up, September's prize is the Chopard Happy Dreams bracelet. View terms and conditions on KirkFreeport.com.
Jay and Money presents the official Jamaica 60th Independence Celebrations on Friday, August 5th at the Lion Center. Featuring from Jamaica, General Degree. Alongside Erica Asai, Leroy Evans, Rose Gold, Dream Chasers dancers, and much more. There will be kids talent contest, best dress, and a dancing contest. Lots of prizes and giveaways, plus the best Jamaican food all day long. Health fair from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. where you can get your PSA, diabetes, and blood pressure checked for free. Music by DJ Bengal and MC Lady T. Don't miss the Jamaica Independence Celebrations Friday, August 5th at the Lion Center, featuring General Degree. Admission is absolutely free. Sponsored by Kingston 62, Best Dressed Chicken, Popeyes, Royal Medical, Kmart Discount Store, People's Choice Grocery, Nathan General, Hot 104.1 FM, Cayman Airways, Cost You Less, Radio Cayman, and Breeze FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And as we go straight to the phones, hey, welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you today?
Very blessed and thankful. How about yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. A lot of topics change from day to day, but some topics do not change from day to day. One of those which doesn't change from day to day is the issue that you have discussed. You've raised about the census and how the census is expected to somehow inform the the decisions regarding how to develop the country and so on. And to me, that press conference was very, very, very pivotal in terms of continuing to shape my own views about where Cayman is going. Because, you see, I first landed in Cayman August 2003. That's the first time I landed. And if you remember correctly, at that time, the hottest issue was the mass grants, which were in the process of being given. And that was a big issue then, together with the other related issue, our Caymanians being given preference in jobs in the private sector, in government, and so on. And then a little later after that, rollover was introduced as some kind of way to counteract the mass impact that the grants did. And then I fast forward to today, it's nearly 20 years after, and the truth of the matter is that issue hasn't been dealt with. There have been governments from that time, the government which was there, let's face it, at that time they expected they would benefit politically from the mass grant. Not everybody in that government. It is understood that one or two people in cabinet at the time were not in favor of doing it in a mass way. But let's face it, it was the government decision, they made it. And up to today, people are still complaining about that. And when you look at the press conference, I would have expected at some point the Premier or the Deputy Premier to say, one of the things that we are going to use these statistics is to find out the position of the number of people who are indigenous Caymanians, the number of people who are status grants, and how we can try to preserve the space of either the indigenous Caymanians alone or at least the indigenous Caymanians and those who already have status now. And to try and from here on in to regulate how much in terms of people are coming into the PR and the status grants. I didn't get that statement from that press conference. What I got was a very vague statement of, we have to keep maintaining the balance and to ensure that development is not stifled and this and that and so on. And to me, that's where the whole thing ends. I remember one of your callers, I think yesterday or the day before, he articulated it very well. He said, you see, why can't the government come out clearly and say, we would like to work towards a situation where the locals are the majority. We may have to work to a 60-40 percentage or 65-70 percentage to try and create a target to create in that. And that guy, I think he expressed it very, very well. And to me, that guy, he found that there was no clear policy on that. And to me, that's what I see as well. There's no clear policy on that. And to me, that's why I believe what is necessary, there is need to make governments accountable.
Mm-hmm.
There is nobody, I do not believe there's any government I can talk about 2003 when I came to Cayman up to today. No government has done what the people want to be done on this. And even the opposition, one time the leader and the deputy leader were on, and then I asked them a similar question. I said, well, but are you committed as a party to ensuring that Caymanians are given preference? And the answer was fudgy. The answer was, well, yes, we are committed to that policy, but people have to understand that a little bit of competition is good. Do you see? Mm-hmm. Yet again, there is no definite policy. There's always something fudgy. So to me, the problem is there has to be a change in the constitutional system to ensure that there's greater accountability of politicians. Right now, politicians in government, in the opposition, have been screwing the population, and they are just playing games, coming in, going through some rhetoric. Once they start enjoying their alliances and they're, persuaded to join the cabal, and that's the end of it. So what is the answer to the question? Is it too late? I'm starting to fear that it may be too late. And I'm starting to say, if anybody hopes that things are going to change, what is the basis of that hope? Because governments have come in, gone, come in, gone, come in, gone. Nothing has been dealt with. What would be the basis of the hope going forward? So that's why, for me, I think it goes back to it's necessary to have people action, have a way to change the constitutional system, be able to recall candidates before the end of their term, introduce new systems of, for example, approving legislation. Look at what's going on now in Odwayne in relation to the advisory district councils. Advisory district councils legislation was passed somewhere around, I think it's 2011 or so. Okay? And the advisory district councils are supposed to be very good because it means there is that mechanism, that machinery where a member of parliament can go and sit with the people who are in the community and talk about how legislation should be drafted, implemented, and so on. And yet, that legislation, government doesn't want to bring it in. The people who are in opposition now are saying, oh, but you see, we are in opposition now, we can't bring it in. But when they themselves were in government, they didn't want to bring it in. What people should realize, and I know a lot of people realize that, Wayne, is that the politicians don't actually like to consult if consultation will result in them changing their policies. They like to consult just so that they look like they are consulting, but meanwhile they are just carrying out the wishes of their handlers. That is where the problem is in the Cayman Islands. There's a need for greater accountability. And at the moment, I'm starting to lose hope even in the PACT government, because after that press conference, I don't think that they are committed to the things that have been concerning Cayman.
With that in mind, I mean, as I listen to you intently, as I always find your contribution to be invaluable, let me then ask two things. Just quickly revisit, you were saying the changes that are afoot with the advisory district councils. In summation, for those who are not up to speed, what do you think, what is that, those changes, and what do you think of them?
Oh, the district councils? Well, you see, district councils, I understand, were introduced very much towards the end of the negotiations for the Constitution.
Right.
There was talk about the possibility of introducing a bicameral legislature, but the British government were not into that. So I believe district councils was one way in which the negotiators could at least get in an idea of some other body which could be used as a consultative body. Now, the district councils are supposed to be like within each district. Each member of parliament is supposed to have certain people appointed there. I think most of them are would be appointed by cabinet. And then in each district, they would sit more like a little council to advise the member of parliament.
Right.
They don't take the decisions, but they advise the member of parliament. So that they are not even supposed to have power to dictate to the member of parliament, at least not legally, but at least just to advise. And yet, no government, past and present, has decided that they should bring that law into force. Okay? That law is not into force. And as a result, people are forced to rely on either waiting for the elections or calling the talk shows and so on, or making individual appointments to MLAs, which are not easy to get. District councils would be things, if I remember correctly, under legislation, they are supposed to meet like every quarter, okay? To meet every quarter to advise the members of parliament. But that has not happened. And to me, it's very indicative of how successive governments don't quite care about consultation. They can talk about it, but they don't care about consultation. They really only care to meet to do the bidding of the people who, to be frank with you, who finance them. Okay, so.
But this is it, and you were sharing too about how we would, maybe look at new ways or different ways of introducing legislation. What other ways for those who know? I mean, right now, legislation only comes from the politicians, whether it's a bill introduced by the government bench or whether it's a private man's motion. How do we get legislation into one, on the agenda at the parliament, and two, into the law?
Well, you see, introduction of legislation, Dwayne, is one of the most controversial things in Cayman. And I can speak, I think, with a reasonable authority, because I was a legislative counsel for 12 years, okay, working in government. What has happened is that there are certain key people in the private sector who are the ones who call the shots. They are the ones who say we want legislation in this area, in that area, and so on. I have seen, without going into details, I have seen those people in action to asking people in government, we understand, Mr. So-and-so, you want to bring this legislation, but what is the need for this legislation? And then the person in government is trying to explain, no, we need it because, you see, it has been decided ABC. So that space, that space in which consultation takes place is a hallowed space. Now, the question you have asked, it takes me back to when I was in government, and I said, you know what, you need to get local people to be more involved in legislation, and the more they can control better the content of legislation, if they can understand how the process works and how the dynamics work. And so I designed a course to try and be able to do that. The government fought me about that. They never wanted the course to be introduced. Why? Because that would open the eyes of government people in society. They didn't want to be done. That's why, in the end, even when I went to court to say, why are you stopping me from teaching this privately? Because initially I was going to teach it in government, free, as part of my job. They refused to have it done. Then when I tried to teach it privately, a Caymanian friend offered me an opportunity to just teach part-time in their company for a short time, and they couldn't give me permission. And then when I went to court for the judicial review, the government spent $80,000 to bring a QC to prevent me from just teaching that little course. It just shows you what the vested interests are. If you can even go to court and spend money to prevent somebody from doing something that's good in the community, which is done in other parts of the world, to try and ensure that your people can understand how the process works and can be more in control. Why? They prefer to have these little committees of people who are in the private sector who can direct the government and just tell them what to do without questioning. And you see, the reason that I was prevented from teaching that little course is the same reason why they don't want the district councils. Because the district councils, one of the things that they're supposed to do is to be able to review legislation as well, to advise their MLA to say, okay, they are members of parliament, to say, well, look, this legislation is about to be passed. This is what we think in our constituency. They don't want that. Because, you see, once you do that and you tell them to do this and then they do something different, then you can always say, well, we told him at the council he should do this, and now he went to the LA and did something else. They don't want that. They prefer that there is no advice of any kind, and they continue making excuses. Okay, they continue making excuses as to why they can't do that. But the reason is because it's much easier for them to do the bidding of their handlers if there is no proper advisory system. That's the reason.
Well, I'm looking forward to talking about it. Maybe we can set up a time for specifically look at certain aspects of the Constitution in particular. You know,
yes.
All right. Hey, thanks very much, Billy.
Thank you, man. Cheers.
Cheers. All right. It's Wednesday. Can you believe it? No, it's still Tuesday. But we're looking forward. So tomorrow is Wednesday. Mr. Art will be with us in the morning for the record. Please join him. Always informative, you know. He had a wonderful discussion Monday morning with Dr. Mala. As I said, if you had a chance to listen to it yet, or if you have, go back to it again. It should encourage you, inspire you. You should see the ethos and the ethic that's within her people. And shows you what good parentage and the examples, you know. I'm sure she has shared more than once, not just on Monday morning publicly. It's the influence of the home, you know, when it comes to community service. If you volunteer, you'll see your children do the same. All right, let's call it that for today. Welcoming you back tomorrow for more talk today right after the midday news and midday meditation. Have a wonderful, blessed, safe, and productive rest of Tuesday. If you're feeling, you know, not 100%, well, I hope you feel better soon. And if you are, like many, you know, still mourning the loss of loved ones, well, our heart, our prayers, and our thoughts are with you. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
Shining down from above.